almost talked about this week, so, yeah, I almost pulled that one.
Oh, how interesting.
I know, isn't that interesting?
It's alive.
It's alive.
Well, good morning, everybody.
You just have to turn it on.
And it'll turn green.
On. So this is our time for the invocation, which is to say we are going to bless the service. So just get peaceful. You can close your eyes if you like, and just settle in. And so let us recognize right here, right now, right where we are, is a living, loving presence of the Almighty, presence of God, the one mind, the divine mind, the Atman, the soul, the spirit within. And let us know that wherever we go, the Spirit goes with us. For I and the Father, Mother, God are one, and all that God has is ours. And so we welcome you all who are here this morning and those on the way. And we give thanks for those who are serving this center. We give thanks to those who are on our board or our core council. We give thanks for our musicians and those in the sound booth. We give thanks to the practitioners who support this ministry in prayer. And we give thanks to Reverend Miriam, who diligently and with hard work and loving soul and spirit gives of herself and gives of her love, and is open this morning, allowing the Spirit to move through her so that a message can be delivered to all of us. And so, knowing that this is the truth, we give thanks. And let these words go, knowing that they return multiplied, abundantly so, manifested here and now. Knowing that this is true, together we say, and so it is. And so, this morning I picked one of my favorite books from my favorite teachers, Joel Goldsmith. The title of this book is Leave Your Nets, which is a way of saying let go. And so I'm going to read a section here, Joel. And it's titled The Call. First, let me just preface it by saying that the more I continue on my journey, it has become very, very clear to me that ultimately the most important thing is to awaken. That though we may say, I need more abundance, I may need more health, I may need a relationship, I may need work, all of those things have their place. But ultimately, at the end of the journey, it's about waking up and seeing the truth of who we are and dispelling the illusionary thoughts that often trouble us. And so Joel often is speaking of that, and so this is in tune with that this morning. Again, the call. God consciousness is a plane of consciousness different from that experienced by the natural man. The natural man is acquisitive, fearful, doubtful, and hesitant in thought and deed, all based on fears concerning the self. He lives in a sense of separation from God, but at some time in his experience, because of the depth and degree of his need, the natural man is turned inward to seek within himself for that which he outwardly requires. This inward turning becomes a search for God, a seeking for truth, and, when earnestly and persistently followed, results in the dawning in consciousness of the verities, the activities, laws, substance, and being of the infinite invisible. The natural man begins to die, and the Son of God is being raised up. Now the seeker begins to realize some measure of his oneness with God, and he eventually discerns that spirit really is the essence and very fiber of his being. The realization of divine sonship is unfolding. A conscious awareness of spirit and its law and being. The Christ, or Son of God, is being born again in the manger of human consciousness and evolves by stages to the degree of manhood in Christ, to the full stature of sonship or God consciousness. On this higher plane, the old man appears less and less. Now one becomes aware that this old man is not and never was a real entity, but rather that a false concept of the creative principle and its universe had been entertained and accepted as truth. More and more, the awareness of true identity becomes manifest, and slowly truth dawns in consciousness until God is beheld and one's own being. Now comes the understanding that man shall not live by bread alone, but more by the consciousness of truth, that the acquisitive consciousness is given way to the I have meat ye not know of consciousness. In this consciousness, there is no selfhood for which to fear, since God has been revealed as the only selfhood, self-sufficient and eternal. It now becomes apparent that life is lived by grace as the gift of God, and the sense of personal effort, human will, and struggle falls away. Life is lived by the law of God. The supply of our daily needs unfolds with no anxious thought from the infinite source of being. The divine harmonies of human relationships are maintained by the beauty and activity of the soul, unless one forgets himself and temporarily becomes a reformer of others, and by so doing brings on the enmity of the natural man, who desires not at all to be extinguished. If we are rich, we are poor indeed unless our wealth is in him. If we are well, the body aches unless our health is in him. There is no peace, no security, no joy, except these be found in him, whom to know aright is life eternal. Yes, life, joyous, peaceful, serene. When a call comes to you to leave your nets, you will understand that you are called upon to leave behind the limited and limiting sense of existence, because you are ready to drop your dependence on persons, things, and conditions of the world to live wholly in God. No longer will you so keenly love, hate, or fear the conditions of this world, the realm of effect, because now you will perceive the true nature of God as the cause, law, and source of your good. You will understand now that the infinite invisible is your rock, your fortress, your high tower, and your sanctuary from every storm and strife of human belief. Further than this, you will see that only the invisible is power, and therefore that no power for good or for evil exists in the realm of effect. Your entire obedience and dependence will rest upon the within and not upon the without. When the voice says, I will make you a fisher of men, you will understand so clearly that God is your being, that those who come to you will seek and find spirit as their life too. Leave your nets and follow me. And so it is.